The transfer window is a weird and interesting time where teams can sign players seemingly from nowhere, they can sell players seemingly to anywhere, and ultimately you just hope that your squad comes through it with a better team than they had before they went into the transfer window. And I think Leeds United are heading in that direction. We've made some great additions. The players that we've lost haven't been super key outside of Strauch, but we replaced him very, very nicely. But sometimes there's going to be those players that you really, 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 really want, but you can't get your hands on, and that is unfortunately looking like that will be the way that the Igor Paixao situation goes. Before all that, just like the video, that'd be quite nice. Thank you very much. Anyway, we will discuss the specific Paixao bits, why everyone seemed to think that Leeds United were on the verge of signing Igor Paixao, and in addition to that, a little bit of conversation around some alternatives and whether or not we actually need those alternatives in the first place. So, diving into it, we have this little bit of news from Guillaume Tarpey. Guillaume Tarpey, having looked into it, is one of those guys that is effectively the Phil Hay or Graham Smith of another club. Someone that is a very, very, very trusted source that a lot of people just sort of invest their belief in. And he said quite simply, I'll read the French first. Igor ne bouge pas, c'est été homme officiel bien cordialement. Cordialement? Which effectively means Igor isn't moving this summer. Best regards, Guillaume Tarpey, which for Leeds United fans will be a little bit of a kick in the balls, considering we really, 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 really wanted Igor Paixao last year. Didn't end up signing him, went to Marseille. And now there seems to be a little bit of discussion around can Leeds United sign Igor Paixao now, given all of the sort of various bits of context, but this seemingly puts a little bit of a stop to it. I know Parag Marathe said his thing about players that Leeds United are interested in that aren't available now might be available later in the summer, but this seems like a very, very firm statement from a journalist that has a lot of very, very strong links with the club that he works with. A lot of people had the belief that Igor Paixao could potentially be coming to Leeds because of a couple of factors, the main one being the Lucas Perry conversation. News has come out fairly recently, also from Guillaume Tarpey, I believe, if I can just pull that one up as well. There we go. That Marseille are ultimately hunting down Lucas Perry. OM is on the verge of doubling Torino's offer for Lucas Perry, which is genuinely huge, is a way of making sure that Torino are just not a part of that conversation. The club's now ramped up contacts in recent hours and hopes to close the deal now. This was posted a day or so ago, which we all know. We know that Lucas Perry and a potential move to Marseille is on the cards if it isn't Torino. But a lot of people sort of took the number two of Lucas Perry is potentially going to Marseille, took the number two of Igor Paixao is a player at Marseille that we had an interest in the past, and they combined them, and they came out with 17 somehow, which is Leeds United are going to sign Paixao. Not going to happen. The belief that we could sign Igor Paixao for Lucas Perry plus a set amount of money is great, and I love the idea of that, and it saves us a hell of a lot of cash going forward. So let's be honest, I would much rather we not have to spend £40 million on a winger. But there's a few factors that say that Paixao wasn't going to be on the move and isn't on the move. One of them being he's played almost all of the time in pre-season, performing to a good standard, and the manager there really, really likes him, which comes together to build this sort of impenetrable shield of you're not going to sign Igor Paixao, which is a little bit of a shame. I like the guy. I think he's got a hell of a lot of potential, but clearly that potential will not be used up at Leeds United. But the question is, do Leeds United actually need to sign someone in Paixao's role? If you have a look across the pitch, and you look at the places that we are weak, I think there is a weakness on the left flank, but I don't think that left flank weakness is strictly on the wing, or at least in terms of a winger, I suppose, because fullbacks are also on the wing. It's in terms of a wing-back, because Gabby Goodmanson is fantastic. You guys know I love Gabby Goodmanson. He is an incredibly creative player who was unlucky to not get more and more and more and more sort of goal contributions last season. Very unfortunate for him, but that's fine. These things happen. You move, you got to push forward and ultimately see where you land. But he's currently injured. And at the moment, it looks like, sure, we can play James Justin there to start the season. That's fine, that's all good. I wouldn't hugely mind James Justin being the starting player for the match against Augsburg, for example, where I really, really want to see what that starting 11 is. Play them as a unit. Please, Daniel, we need to see that. But James Justin is very right-footed, which isn't really what suits Daniel Farke's system. Daniel Farke's system tends to rely on players that are on the side that their foot is to open up more passing lanes, make things a little bit easier for everyone involved. James Justin doesn't do that, and I think it is very, very likely that we look at a little bit of depth to go behind Gabby Gudmundsson and ultimately have a little bit of a stronger left-back position this season. I would love that. That would be beautiful. I'd be very, very happy. I don't see it happening on the left wing. I think Noah Okafor is a good enough player to hold that starting position down, and I think there's enough depth behind him in the form of Nonto, in the form of James, to sort of provide support there. Plus, let's be honest, we can always change the formation if Okafor isn't available. We tend to play with 5 at the back regardless. You can't play without a left back. But there is a chance that instead we go to, alright, so 5-2-1-2. You play with 2 centre forwards instead and a number 10 behind them. That'll do a job. I think we will get an attacking signing, without a doubt. It's just the flavour of that attacking signing is a little bit of a question mark. It will, in my opinion, undoubtedly not be Igor Paixao, because that one has been very just shot down, gone. That one isn't going on. But there is still conversation around the likes of Frankie Lino. There is still conversation around the likes of Rooney Bargi. I believe we will look in the sort of young, promising winger sort of area to sign someone that can play as understudy to Noah Okafor, that can come through as time goes on and, ideally, in the long term, overtake him. But I don't think, with our current outlay and our current spending, it would make a lot of sense to try and sign someone better than Noah Okafor right now, because those players are fairly rare, and that would be a very, very expensive outlay when we also need to sort out the left-back and a backup goalkeeper and potentially other players, but that's just what I think, as always. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also in the comments down below, a little bit of a request. I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing this yet, but in the vlog that I'm going to do today, I'm going to try and do some viewery challenges around match day, so let me know some things that you can suggest, ideally without pestering people and all that kind of stuff. I like being a shy vlogger. But that'd be appreciated if you could pop those in the comments. And also, don't hype this video, but hype the one later, because I'm doing a little bit of an experiment. I would massively appreciate you helping out on that. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Toodaloo. No, wait, hold on. I had another thing to say. I'm going to say this on a video rather than just the stream, so everyone is aware. In the event that we sign Rafa Leao, because I absolutely believe we will not, I've made a bet with my live stream chat that I will be eating an Erling Haaland football card in the event that we sign Rafa Leao, because I'm that confident it won't happen. I know people might go in the comments and be like, oh, not Paixao, let's get Leao instead. That's how confident I am that that move will not happen. So I just thought I'd cut that one off before that conversation goes on. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.